Hey there, it's Ryan Seacrest for Safeway.
Flu season is here, and the in-store pharmacy has you covered with a free flu shot with most insurance plans. And as a thank you, get up to $20 off your grocery purchase. Plus, it's cough and cold season. Stock up on all the season's essentials and get ready for relief with discounts on items like Mucinex Children's Multi-Symptom Cold Medicine, Zarabee's Children's Cough Syrup, and Emergen-C. Offer ends January 27th. Restrictions apply and offers may vary by location.
Visit Safeway.com for more details.
Forget whatever plans you have this weekend because you're staying at home and playing on SpinQuest. And there's never been a better time to sign up than right now. New users get $30 coin packs for just $10. All the table games you love with hundreds of slot games and real cash prizes. That's at spinquest.com. SPINQUEST.com.
SpinQuest is a free-to-play social casino. Void where prohibited. Visit spinquest.com for more details.
This is Optimal Relationships Daily. When a parent needs too much, what is enmeshment and how does it hurt a child? By Dr. Margaret Rutherford of drmargaretrutherford.com. Being a parent is a complicated job. Healthy parenting includes doing your best to create a loving environment, supporting your kids so that their talents and interests thrive, and guiding them as they increasingly build their own life. All parents are going to make mistakes. It's one of the terrifying realizations you make very early on. They'll benefit from your strengths, but sadly, it's inevitable that your vulnerabilities will also affect them. While I was pregnant, I knew I was being a good enough mom. I wasn't eating much fast food, although I was amazed he didn't come out looking like a chicken nugget, and I was getting plenty of rest. But things got a lot fuzzier when he was a babe in my arms. This parenting gig is very humbling. Yet, some problems are harder to see than others. What's one of them? When you, as the parent, need too much from that child. When the two of you are enmeshed. What is enmeshment? If you and your kids are enmeshed, the boundaries between you and your child don't exist clearly, if at all. You're all tangled up with one another in ways that aren't healthy for either of you. Perhaps you're a mother that shares too much, or a dad that's needy. So your children get the message that it's not okay to be independent, and that they need to be your confidant or buddy. It might never occur to that child, even as an adult, not to include their parent in daily decisions. Multiple texts go on all day long. When a new boyfriend casually asks, "Hey, why don't you come back from the holiday break a few days early so we can hang out?" There's shock and perhaps ridicule. "I can't come back early. I always spend this time with my mom." What's tricky about this? It can appear that all is well. Wow, you're so close to your parents. You're so lucky. But internally, the parent expects or even demands loyalty and doesn't celebrate their child's independence unless they're able to live through that child's achievement. When the child reaches adulthood, they can be stricken by guilt for simply wanting and needing their own life. The book Educated by Dr. Tara Westover describes an extremely enmeshed family. Her parents didn't believe in public schools, doctors, vaccines, or socializing with others. They kept their young children working on the farm, away from books or school. There was an intense disdain for curiosity about anything, other than that what was offered at home. The author challenged these rules, but not without paying a heavy price. There can be less severe versions of this. If everyone in your family knows everyone else's business, and always feels free to comment or have an opinion, you're likely to find enmeshment. If you and your children are still expected to spend holidays at your parents' home, or your dad drops by with no warning and expects your attention, or you spend hours talking on the phone with your mom, feeling as if you need to fill her in so she'll feel like a part of things, you might want to reconsider the health of that habit. What's the danger of enmeshment? Enmeshment can sound like a lot of things. Again, in a certain context, these statements aren't manipulative. But when they're repeated over and over, when the message is, "Don't leave me, don't abandon me," the child or adult child can feel trapped. "I don't know what I would do without you. You know me better than anybody. I can't think about you leaving." Usually early on, the child is pulled in to serve the psychological needs of a parent. Perhaps it's to help mom stop crying, or to lift dad out of a bad mood, perhaps to prevent a drinking spree. That child is told that they're doing a great job, and no one could do it better. "You make me so happy. You're saving me from myself." But guess what? Inevitably, the parent becomes unhappy again. Their problems are adult problems and can only be truly healed by their own actions. So the child, who now feels responsible for her parent, fails. She's not special enough. He's not smart enough to fix his father's struggles. To fix that, they must try harder. It can be a lifelong job. Don't get me wrong, enmeshment is very different than asking a child to help you with the garden or giving them chores around the house. Of course, good parenting is about having expectations. You're teaching a child about responsibility. But those expectations aren't the same as pulling a child into a role that isn't one a child should play. How does enmeshment affect a child? Dr. Pat Love wrote a book about this phenomenon called The Emotional Incest Syndrome: What to Do When a Parent's Love Rules Your Life. She describes the cost to the child. If the parent represses the girl's or boy's anger, not just once, but over and over again, a deeper injury occurs. The girl will eventually dismantle her anger response. Ultimately, it's safer for her to cut off a part of her being than to battle the person on whom her life depends. It can feel like a job you can't quit. So, you swallow your anger. And here's another irony. If you are one of these adult children, many people have probably told you how lucky you were to have a parent that sang your praises and adored you so much. It's difficult to question this bond because you may feel extreme guilt, as if you're being disloyal or not appreciating all that they've done for you. You fear that you can never emotionally leave, nor can you express anger about how trapped you feel. But you may also feel terrifically insecure. You may look like an adult on the outside, but you may doubt your own reasoning and capabilities. After all, aren't you supposed to check in before making big decisions? The parent's message is often, "You can't really do life well without me." Sometimes that message is unintended. Sometimes it's more than intended, and manipulative. I never realized that I don't make a decision without talking to my mom about it first. I just assumed that I would help with my dad's business. I never gave one thought to doing something on my own. So what now? Breaking the pattern of enmeshment. The good news is that this dynamic can be changed. I've worked with parents who have been able to see what they've unintentionally done and decided to back off for everyone's well-being. I've guided adult children who needed to pull away from the intensity of the relationship. The pattern can be changed, but it's going to feel odd for a while. There will be space where there was no space before. It can feel a little lonely, perhaps oddly enough for both of you. If you're the parent, finding other relationships that can support you is the first line of business, the goal being that you are far less reliant on your child. If you're the adult child, you may have become quite accustomed to the parent's constant contact, and being without it can feel a little shaky. Your task is to build your own sense of identity while learning to share in healthy, supportive relationships. As the parent, you can confront your own unhappiness while giving the gift of freedom to your child. As the child, you can discover your own competence and know that the love of your parent is there for support. You just listened to the post titled, "When a Parent Needs Too Much: What is Enmeshment and How Does It Hurt a Child?" by Dr. Margaret Rutherford of drmargaretrutherford.com.
Forget whatever plans you have this weekend because you're staying at home and playing on SpinQuest. And there's never been a better time to sign up than right now. New users get $30 coin packs for just $10. All the table games you love, with hundreds of slot games and real cash prizes. That's at spinquest.com. SPINQUEST.com.
SpinQuest is a free-to-play social casino. Void where prohibited. Visit spinquest.com for more details.
The new year means new health goals, not just for your body, but for your finances too. But did you know financial health is directly related to identity protection? You need LifeLock because your personal info is in endless places that are outside of your control. It only takes one mistake, and not even your mistake, to expose you to identity theft and lost funds. LifeLock monitors hundreds of millions of data points per second and alerts you to threats you could miss on your own. If your identity is stolen, LifeLock's US-based restoration specialist will fix it, backed by the $1 Million Protection Package. In fact, restoration is guaranteed or your subscription money back. Don't face drained accounts, fraudulent loans, or other financial losses from identity theft alone. Resolve to make identity, health, and wealth part of your New Year's goals with LifeLock. Visit lifelock.com/iHeart and save up to 40% your first year. That's 40% off at lifelock.com/iHeart. Terms apply.
And a wonderful post from Dr. Margaret today, which we thank her for. Informative as always. I really love the note she ended on, too. And I think it's exactly the mentality to adopt before putting the work in of strengthening other relationships or other forms of independence. It was her note about giving the gift of freedom to your child. And this works just as well the other way around, too. If we're able to pivot away from the sense of loss we might feel when healthily detaching from our parent or child, depending on who we are in the relationship, we can remind ourselves that this only helps both of our lives. It's a smooth transition out of enmeshment, as we are still remaining cognizant of the other party's well-being. We just can't be so reliant on this idea that we're still emotionally dependent on them. But finding that middle ground is a really essential part of the healing process, and really the first part. So, thanks once again to Dr. Margaret, and thanks to all of you for being here. It's time to get going for now, parents. Have a great Friday if you're listening in real time, and I look forward to seeing you back here tomorrow for another post. That's where your optimal life awaits.